welcome back to my channel. I am in a new setup today. I'm currently away for work, so I'm in a little cottage up in Leeds, just outside Leeds, in a place called South Milford. So I thought what a great time to sit down and catch up with you guys. I'm really sorry that there's been no videos for the last week. I was so unwell. I still don't feel great, but we're back. I'm just going to push through it. And I've got a really fun weekend planned, which is going to be able to be lots of content for Tuesday's video. It's all about self-care, but for today's video it's going to be a little chatty, talking about getting your emotions back when you go sober. So if you are at that stage of your sobriety where you're feeling very Jekyll and Hyde, you don't know whether you're bipolar, you don't know whether you're happy, sad, everything in between, stick around and hopefully I'll be able to help you get through this weird stage of sobriety. If you're new here, thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe and like and comment below. Okay, so you're sober, congratulations, welcome to the club. You are feeling very strange, depending on how long you've been drinking for, or depending how heavily you've been drinking for, you've probably been suppressing quite a lot of emotions or using alcohol to deal with emotions. For example, if you've had a stressful day at work, you probably come home and have a beer or have a glass of wine. The problem with that is you're not ever getting down to the reason of what stressed you out. So you drink on it, which, you know, it's completely understandable. And for people that can drink regularly, it's maybe just one. But for a lot of us that watch my channel and come onto this page, generally you're probably not finding that you're able to have just one. So when you eventually stop drinking, you suddenly have to deal with all these emotions that you've drunk on, which can feel really alien. I know in my second or third month of sobriety, I started to feel anger. And for so long, I didn't feel angry because I used to drink when I was angry. You know, I'd have a bad day, someone would upset me or annoy me, and I would just go out and get really, really drunk. So I never felt anger because I never let it get to that level of emotion. I would go out and drink on it and then forget about it and not care about it, which we now know isn't true. But yeah, so for me, there was a lot of discovery. You know, if you're someone that hasn't cried in years, there's a good chance that when you get sober, you might suddenly find your tear ducts are working overtime, and that's okay. I think the crazy thing about learning who you are again is learning how emotional you are. You know, for so long there was a lot of emotions that I completely suppressed and I didn't deal with. So let's talk about how we can channel them emotions and how we can get through dealing with all of these emotions. So my first tip, and if you watch some of my other getting sober videos, this is a tip that I have repeated before, but write it down. Get yourself some stationery and jot down your thoughts. You're having to learn how to process emotions, and it's a hell of a lot easier to process them when you can see them on the page in front of you. You want to get everything out of your head and onto paper so that you can then rearrange the paper. You can see it as something tangible that you can look at and then you can pick apart. So for me, when I discovered anger, I had to really sit with myself and write down what I was angry about, what had annoyed me, why had it annoyed me. And for me, it was often traffic, things not going my way. You know, if I, for instance, was meant to be meeting a friend and they were late, it really annoyed me because I'd arrived on time. Why couldn't they? And when I picked that apart, I realised that I was losing control, and that's what was making me angry. You know, generally, a lot of us that suffer with alcohol and addiction problems, it is a matter of control. You know, we take that drink, we take that drug so that we are in control of our emotions, even though we know we're not. So when you get sober and you don't have that solution anymore, you don't know what to do with your emotions. So when I started to process them and I realised that it wasn't that I was angry, it's that I felt fearful of not being in control. And it helped me to spin them negative emotions on their head. And it was really helpful to know that I wasn't becoming this scary, angry monster. If anything, the anger was a front for just how fearful I was, and that I needed to allow people around me to be aware of how I was feeling. You know, if someone can't hear you, they can't help you. So, you know, I would be really honest with my friends and family and say, look, you know, if you are going to be late, that's completely fine, but can you just let me know? Especially if, you know, for example, we were meeting somewhere that was closer to my house and I could have been at home for longer, relaxing or, you know, doing things around the house rather than arriving and then waiting around. You know, it's a completely simple thing, but for someone getting to grips with sobriety, it feels massive, and that's completely okay. You know, by jotting down your emotions, you're able to pick them apart. You're able to kind of rearrange them and best place them. And then you have to talk about it. You know, it's back to my last video of getting honest. Let people around you know how you feel. Hopefully at this stage in your sobriety, you've met other sober friends that you can call, you can talk to. You know, if you have joined a fellowship, then you will know that there is so much help out there for you to call and talk to someone. Don't ever suffer in silence. You know, if you don't deal with a problem, that problem's gonna become bigger and bigger, and eventually it could cause you to drink on it. And that's what we want to avoid. So write it down, map it out, and talk it out. They are probably the 3 most important things when dealing with your emotions. But also embrace them. You know, for me, I was full of fear when I first got sober. I had a massive sense of a loss of identity. I didn't know who I was. You know, I'd gone from this party girl that was always up for a good time to now I'm sober. I don't want to go out much. When I do go out, I'm really angry. I'm really irritable. It was completely alien to me, and it wasn't someone that I resonated with. So by working through my emotions and really getting to the core of what was going on, I was able to then work through that and say, actually, I'm not angry, I'm scared. And that's completely normal. You know, you're going through a massive change in your life. You're saying goodbye to one chapter and opening a brand new one to a completely blank page. And that is really scary, but you're not doing it alone. You've got people around you that can help. And if you haven't, there are so many sources where you can meet people, because trying to do this alone and trying to be, you know, your own unsung hero is really going to make it hard for you. You know, you don't get sober off reading a couple of Instagram posts and watching a couple of videos. You get sober by really working through the reasons why you drink. And that is terrifying. But I promise you, once you get through that period, your emotions do start to settle down. I think for me, the worst of my emotions was definitely between months 3 and 5. I am now 8, nearly 9 months sober. I'll be 9 months on the 21st, which is crazy. But yeah, I feel like I'm definitely more hyper aware of my emotions now, but I'm less afraid of them. You know, if an emotion comes up that doesn't sit comfortable with me, like anger or jealousy or, you know, resentment, I will get my pen to paper. I will call my sponsor and I will talk to them and hash it out. You know, if I sit in my own head for too long, that's when the danger strikes. You know, I have to vent, I have to clear my space. You know, you have to keep your own street clean. You can't worry about everyone else's. If you feel that you're doing something that doesn't necessarily align with you, the likelihood is there's probably something going on that you need to work through. So don't be afraid to dig deep. Don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to laugh. You know, life is really short and you've chosen to prolong yours. You've chosen to look after number one. You should always feel proud of yourself for taking this journey, but you're also allowed to have days where you're just completely confused, don't know whether you're coming or going. Just stick at it. I can promise you it gets easier. And if you ever need any help, my DMs are always open. And I'm really proud of you for clicking on this video, and I hope that long may your sobriety continue. I have rambled on a little bit there. Normally I chop up my videos a bit more, so this will be fun to edit. But yeah, a super short video for me today. I just wanted to jump on, talk about our emotions, and let you guys know that what you're feeling is completely normal and it's just part of the process. So stick at it, and I will see you guys on Tuesday for another video. Mwah.